It's Friday afternoon. You just checked your bank account, and after the bills, the rent, and that one dinner out you probably shouldn't have had, there it is, exactly $1,000. It feels like a lot of money when you're standing in front of a shiny new laptop or a pair of designer sneakers. But when you think about building wealth, it feels like a joke. You look at that $1,000 and think, what's the point? This isn't enough to buy a house. It's not enough to retire. So I might as well just spend it and enjoy my life today. You feel stuck in this middle ground where you aren't broke, but you definitely aren't rich. And that $1,000 feels more like a burden than an opportunity. My name is Badger, and I spend way too much time thinking about the mathematical path to financial freedom. If you're someone who feels like you're constantly waiting for a big break or a lottery win salary increase to start your real life, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. The great financial lie. Look, here's the thing. Most people believe that wealth is the result of one massive event, a lucky stock pick, a crypto moonshot, or inheriting a vineyard from a long-lost uncle. Look, that's not reality. Wealth is actually the result of asymmetric math applied to small amounts of capital over time. Now, you might be thinking, Badger, $1,000 to $100,000? That's a 10,000% return. Unless I'm buying magic beans, that's impossible. And if you're just dumping it into a savings account at 0.01% interest, you're right. It would take you roughly 46,000 years to reach that goal. But this is where it gets really interesting. We aren't just talking about a passive investment. We're talking about 3 specific rules that act as force multipliers. Rule 1, the rule of asymmetric velocity, the seed phase. Most people treat $1,000 as a consumer unit. They think about what it can buy. Millionaires treat $1,000 as a soldier unit. They think about what it can capture. Here's what most people don't realize. Your first $1,000 is your most expensive money. It represents the hours of your life you traded to get it. If you spend it on a depreciating asset, like a phone that loses 30% of its value the second you open the box, you've effectively murdered those hours of your life. The math. To turn $1,000 into $100,000 in 10 years, we need to move from linear growth to velocity growth. Scenario A. You invest $1,000 at 10% annual return. In 10 years, you have roughly $2,593. Great, but you aren't rich. Scenario B. You use that $1,000 as velocity capital. The story. Let's look at my friend Mark. Mark had $1,000. Instead of the S&P 500, he spent $1,000 on a high-end certification for a specific AI-driven data visualization tool. It took him 2 months of weekends to learn. Because of that $1,000 investment, he was able to take on a side contract that paid $2,000 a month. Mark didn't just get a 10% return. He got a 2,300% annual return on his initial $1,000. He used his capital to increase his earnings velocity. This is the only way to scale small amounts of money quickly without gambling. Rule 2. The 80-20 aggressive reinvestment cycle. This is where people usually fail. When Mark started making that extra $2,000 a month, what do you think he did? Most people would upgrade the car. They'd get the nicer apartment. They'd let lifestyle creep swallow the victory. The psychology. Humans are biologically wired for instant gratification. Our brains see that extra $2,000 and think, we survived the lean times. Now we must feast. But the wealthy understand the wealth gap. The wealth gap is the distance between your actual income and the income you pretend to have. The actionable step. You must apply the 80-20 reinvestment rule. 80% of every new dollar generated by your initial $1,000 must be funneled directly into income-producing assets, low-cost index funds, dividend stocks, or further skill acquisition. 20% can go to taxes or a small reward to keep your lizard brain happy. The math. If Mark takes his $2,000 per month side hustle and invests 80%, $1,600, into an index fund averaging 8 to 10%, look at what happens. After year 1, $20,000. After year 5, $125,000. In 10 years, you're looking at over $300,000. Wait, the goal was $100,000, right? We've already tripled it. This is the surprising math that people miss because they think in months, not decades. Rule 3. the anti-fragility buffer. Now, you might be thinking, Badger, what if the market crashes? What if I lose my side hustle? This is where it gets really interesting. Most people treat their investment portfolio like a glass vase. It's beautiful until one thing hits it, and then it's worthless. You need to build an anti-fragile system. The strategy: never put your last $1,000 into the market. Rule 3 is, $1,000 is your opportunity floor. If your bank account ever hits $1,000, you are effectively at zero. You don't touch it. This is your psychological armor. When you have this floor, you don't make desperation trades. You don't sell your stocks when the market dips 10% because you need grocery money. The statistic: according to a 2024 survey, nearly 60% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency with savings. By simply having this floor, you are already in the top 40% of the population. That psychological stability allows you to stay invested during the red days while everyone else is panicking. The surprising insight: here's what most people don't realize. The $100,000 isn't the goal. The person you become while turning $1,000 into $100,000 is the goal. By the time you hit that six-figure mark, you have mastered skill acquisition velocity, delayed gratification, the 80-20 cycle, emotional regulation, the opportunity floor. Those 3 traits are worth more than the $100,000 because they are repeatable. If you lost all the money tomorrow, you could do it again in half the time. Look, the next 10 years are going to pass anyway. You can either spend that $1,000 today and have a story about a cool weekend you barely remember, or you can treat it as the first soldier in your private army of wealth. Take that $1,000. Invest it in a skill that increases your hourly value. Apply the 80-20 rule to the profit. Protect your opportunity floor. Stop playing the game on easy mode, where you just work and spend. Start playing for keeps. If you're ready to stop being a consumer and start being a capitalist, subscribe to Growth Capital Mind. We're going to build this together. Now, I want to hear from you. What is one skill you could learn for under $1,000 that would double your income? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be responding to the best ones. Get to work.